it's a wonderful thing to see our children prospering and growing in the faith. And of course, John means that from an apostolic view and seeing generations of multiplication happen in the local church there thriving. But, every Christian dad takes that to mean also his own kids. And so I'm grateful to have Chase back. I need to stand on something because he's taller than me. But I'm so grateful you're back. You have been gone all summer. Where have you been?
I've been at SnowBird, SnowBird Wilderness Outfitters.
Okay. And I read online, if you go online and just look up SnowBird, there's this beautiful, really expensive ski lodge out in the middle of the country somewhere. Is that where you've been?
So, as great as that would have been, no, that's not where I was. No, we were at SnowBird Wilderness Outfitters in Andrews, North Carolina.
Okay.
Which is way, way out in the
What's that
very
near?
end. It's about 30 minutes away from Cherokee.
I think you're closer to some spots in another state, aren't you?
Yeah, we're 15 minutes away from the Georgia line, so we're pretty way out there. It's as far as you can get.
I say it's in the nose.
On the
What
nose.
surprised you the most about being away from your family and your church this summer?
Well, that's a good question. I would say for me it was, first off, not being able to be with Mission Bible. I didn't realize how much I missed it, until I was actually gone. And while we did have a staff church there at SnowBird, it's still not
Which
the
is
same.
awesome.
Yes.
Anybody from
Staff
SnowBird's
church
watching?
Staff church at SnowBird's great.
Right.
But it's still
not-
not the same as, your home
family.
church, And so it took a lot of getting used to that, And while they've got similar teaching styles, it still's different from not hearing teaching that, I grew up with.
Yeah.
I also really miss communion with Mission Bible. There's just something so great about being with your home church, being with your family, and just something so beautiful about it. So I definitely really did miss those things, and it was surprising.
Did you miss any home cooking?
Oh, that was like the biggest thing, yes. I miss the home cooking, I was grateful, to have food provided a whole entire summer. It saved a lot of money. But I definitely did miss, Mom's home cooking. Just it was great.
I don't talk about it enough, and it sounds like a Southern colloquialism when people say it, but my wife can cook.
She really can.
She's great.
Good.
She's amazing.
Yes.
She takes good care of us. Okay, so that was your summer away from us, but what surprised you the most about your summer with a group of young people, not the campers, but the young people who were like you that were there to serve Jesus? What was the biggest surprise for that?
Man, it was weird at first. I'll admit it. It was weird to be with a group of guys that, we had been in a group chat with, but not really known each other, face to face. So those first few weeks, it was really just getting to know each other, having a lot of one-on-one conversations with each other. And then as the summer kind of progressed, it was really great to get to open up with each other, hold each other accountable. And every morning, 7:15, we would all do Bible study together, which was great.
Yeah.
We worked through 1 Peter together. And I would say it's just been great to get to see all of them grow. We've all grown in different areas, but I feel like the biggest thing was like creating a brotherhood with each other.
It's fantastic.
It was awesome.
What's a God story that stands out to you the most from your time while you were there this summer? And I know there are a lot. So what's the one that you, like if you were wanting to share, what's the one story you'd share? Because I know you'd sit down, and Chase is the kind of person, he'd sit down with you and talk to you.
I'm a yapper.
Especially if you take him out to lunch
Yeah.
or dinner. Just wink when he's back in town. But if he doesn't get the chance, here's the story he wants to share with you, the God story. So share that with him.
So, as I was thinking about him, there was one that really just stuck out to me, and that was week 8 of SnowBird. It was the last week that me and the guys who are doing this internship program, it was the last week we had to work with students. And so our leader, he was just really great with pulling us out, to be able to work with those students one last week. And so the church I was with, which was Venture Church, it's in Dallas, North Carolina.
That's the church that came up for that week of camp?
Yes.
That you were assigned to serve?
Yeah, that was my church for the week.
Gotcha.
They were a great church. It was awesome. There were almost 100 kids. So it was a really big church, and it was cool to get to kind of know them at the beginning of the week. And then as the week progressed, we saw more and more students from that church making professions and it being clear that, they wanted Jesus as their Savior to be in their heart. So that was the biggest Jesus story. I got to see baptisms at SnowBird, which was,
wild.
it was like one of the most unreal experiences. And it's just something I'm so blessed for. And so that was like my Jesus experience, getting to see him work in those students and then getting to just hash it out and talk about how good he was, with the leaders and, with my friends.
So if people had time, that was week 8.
It was.
So he's probably got a story or two or three, and you got to live behind the curtain a little bit in ministry. And the L&T guys and girl, I don't know much about the girls. I know a lot about the guys' experience from you, but I know the guys, when I say live behind the curtain, it might be better to say to live in the crawl space, because they had to do, I mean, they were digging and painting and doing yard work, and it was, you guys did everything. You got a lot of growing up training while you were there.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty awesome. Okay, so it sounds exciting, but I also know they were early mornings, late nights, same food every day, even though it was delicious if you're watching anybody from the kitchen at SnowBird, but same food every day, but like, or every week, I should say. So why are you going back?
Well, you know, it's funny. At the beginning of the summer, our leader kind of talked to us about, oh, hey, for those of you guys that are graduating, you should pray about, you know, applying for the Institute program. And I told him, I wasn't very sure about it. You know, I just got out of high school.
And that's a year program,
It's
right?
a year program, so it's from August of this year to August of next year. And so he told us to pray about it. You know, I wasn't very sure what I was going to do with my gap year, because the hope was to go to maybe App State next year. And then, so I applied, and then he told me to just pray about it if I get accepted. So I got accepted and prayed about it, and I just really feel that it would be great to pursue God's calling at SnowBird and be able to give more than I'm able to take. You know, they poured so much into me this summer, you know, as part of the Element program, and it would just be so awesome to get to give back what they've, you know, just poured their time into with this.
So you live missionally. He was accepted, by the way, and it's a year-long program. And let me just back up a little bit as I've learned more about this, and as Chase continues to learn more about it. There's the opportunity. This opens the door for a 2-year in this phase thing. Now, you're not committed to that, but it opens the door. You have to do year 1 to get to year 2. And then that opens the door, and that's the only way to get to the open door of a 3-year contract to serve as actual staff.
Which would be full-time, full
Yeah, like full-time staff. You mentioned that would be full-time pay. So what are you most concerned about over the course of this next year? What's your top concern? So we know you're excited, you're going to have an amazing time, but what's a concern that you have going into this year?
Well, I would say, as grateful as I am to get to do this, it's not, you know, full pay, you know, full-time paying job. And so we have limited pay, which it's something I'm so grateful for. I'm grateful that they even want us back, you know. And so I would say the biggest thing is just being good stewards of what God's given me, you know, as far as it goes financially. So it's going to have to learn to, you know, not saying yes to everything that everybody does on the weekends, you know, and cutting back, because you can still have fun without spending all the money.
True.
So I would say the biggest thing I'm concerned about would be just the financial stability part.
Okay.
You know, but I know God's sovereign and that He will provide, you know, in His perfect timing.
Now that's one aspect that you're concerned about, but you'll be 19 soon.
Yes.
Like you'll be 19 soon, and there's another thing. They expect you to behave not like campers,
right?
Not like L&T guys in this next phase. What's another concern that you have?
Well, I mean, they expect us to act, you know, like grown adults. You know, we're not part of the Element program, which is for the high schoolers anymore. We're expected to, you know, step it up as a man. You know, something we learned about this summer, Brody said, you know, the biggest part of being biblical masculinity and manhood is realizing, like, no one's coming to save you and that you're on your own. And, you know, while that can sound like a scary thing, it's a really encouraging thing, you know, for those of us that believe in God. And so for me, I would say the biggest thing that I'm also, you know, going to have to push myself in is spiritual growth. So over the summer, you know, we have all these awesome leaders, and we're going to have even more amazing leaders, you know, for the Institute year. But we have so many great people pouring into us, but, you know, we're grown adults, so we're going to be expected to grow on our own spiritually. So I'm going to have to do a lot more pushing myself, you know, to read my Bible daily, you know, memorize verses, you know, and just pursue my relationship with God, not SnowBird making me do this, you know, something on my own, you know, which will be, I think it's a really great thing if you can make it be a great thing.
Well, we're excited at what the Lord is doing in you. We're excited at what the Lord has already done for you. And we're excited at what the Lord is going to do through you over the course of this next year at SnowBird. And whatever that leads to, if this is it, right? If this is the stint and this was the experience and this is what the Lord is using, or if the Lord is calling you there longer term. You don't have to decide that now or even know that now. Faith is really just putting one step in front of the other. Well, I think I heard it better said this way. Faith is what happens on the inside of us, and obedience is that putting one foot in front of the other, just a walk in the direction the Lord's leading. Well, if you are interested in partnering with Chase in any way, just reach out to me. We'll have some better information for you soon. But if you want to help in any way, because every time we've mentioned Chase, somebody will say, what can we do? Well, we knew some things this summer, but it was a little bit different. Now we have a better picture of what this next year looks like. And so if you want to reach out to me, pastor@missionbiblechurch.org, feel free to do that. That information is on the screen. And there may be an opportunity where there's a chance if you wanted to send something to Chase, we'll provide that information as well. But I'm not going to blast that on the internet. Just reach out to me or Ashley if you have her contact information, and we'll be happy to get that to you. Hey, thanks so much for making time for me today. Now, I would say in your busy schedule, but realistically, we wanted you to rest this week and to recover, because it's not even a full week. He got home the weekend. He goes back on Friday, right?
Friday, yep.
Because he's got to be ready to load in on Monday.
Monday morning, yep. That's our kickoff.
Wow. Well, I love you, son.
Love you too.
Grateful for you. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us today.